sitting and the stars are watching you. You got a right to tackle with.
Today's guest is director, writer and producer Matteo Ribaudo. Hello Matteo, how are you?
Thanks for having me.
So let's talk about Sunday Dinner, an Italian-American comedy. Who doesn't love a comedy, huh?
Exactly. Who doesn't love a comedy?
I know, with the Italians all at the table, and the bread and the pasta and the everything else. Except for
The
Sunday Dinner.
prosciutto and the braciole and the lasagna.
Yes.
Antipasto.
Can you give a synopsis on this film?
So, Sunday Dinner it's kind of loosely based on my family and cousins and everyone and how crazy it gets at the dinner table.
Not my cousin Vinny, right?
You know what? It's kind of like a My Cousin Vinny and Moonstruck meets an Alfred Hitchcock type of movie.
Ooh, that's
so it's kind of a comedy with thriller elements to it. And Mom has decided that she is going back to school. Mm-hmm. And this Sunday dinner, she's going to break the news to her sons and her husband, all the boys or men in the house, that they got to fend for themselves because Mom has a life and she wants to go back to school.
Right. I bet it went down like a lead weight.
Yeah. Exactly. What? Right? So
you can put that in the script if you want.
In the opening frame of the story, Uncle Leo, the annoying Uncle Leo, is staying with them, and he accidentally dies in the opening frame. And just like a Hitchcock movie, Mom has to hide the body because she's got company coming over, right? And so the whole time her and her sister are trying to hide the body from the family because they don't know what the hell to do. And then Mom is also like having a midlife crisis, and everyone in the house is being selfish men, and havoc ensues, and comedy, the best kind of comedy, happens with the brothers and the father, and it's a lot of fun.
Do you know what's in my head as you're talking about this? The cast from My Big Fat Greek Wedding, the women.
That's a great comparable. Huh? Absolutely. Yeah. My Big Fat Greek Wedding is a great comparable to this as well.
Right.
You know what? The great thing about comedy and like about families, no matter where you come from, whether you're Irish, Italian, if you're African American, or a different culture, from the South or, England or wherever, is that in Asian culture, we all know what getting that family guilt is about, whether it's Catholic guilt, Jewish guilt, whatever kind of guilt that's being thrown at you for not doing what you're supposed to do in life, or the dynamics of the brothers or siblings. That's universal. And so with this kind of movie, anyone can watch it and find humor and see themselves in it.
Right.
So I'd love.
That's what I think. That's how you catch an audience, is making them relate, or making them relate to the character, to the film, to that actual scene.
Yes, and Stanley Tucci and Marissa Tomei would be the great mother and father. If you're listening, Stanley, it's about food, family, and foul play. It's an Italian comedy.
Right. So I want to talk about butterfly kisses.
About what?
Butterfly kisses.
Butterfly kisses. Ooh, I didn't know we were talking about that one. Okay.
We're talking about everything today.
Oh, Matteo. My goodness. I hope I don't bore everyone.
How can you? You've got an Italian personality.
So Butterfly Kisses it's kind of it's a drama, it's a coming of age story. It does have some faith elements to it. I grew up Catholic, and I still have a great spirituality, to God and all. But it's not like a preachy kind of thing. And when I was growing up, my mother wanted us to be American, and she kind of wanted to make everything American and less Italian. And so when we would go to my grandparents in the Bronx, you know, we'd go in and we'd have all these different Italian foods, and you're just like an artichoke, a stuffed artichoke, and you're like, as a kid, how do you eat this thing?
What is
And,
it?
and the reason why I bring that up is because the story, what happens is this boy and his mother live with his grandparents and her in-laws because he lost his father. And so they're both kind of living in an environment that they're not used to because they're mixed race. And so the boy learns about his roots and his Italian family background. He also learns about spirituality because his mother is anti God and anti this because she lost her husband.
Yeah, so she's angry at God at the moment, right?
Correct. And so the boy's getting bullied at school, and the grandfather was into the boxing scene because that's how the little boy's father died, was in the boxing ring.
Oh.
And so the mother doesn't want the kid to fight because she's got PTSD from her husband dying in the boxing ring.
Right.
So there's all this kind of conflict, and it turns out that the kid becomes a musician, a pianist, and his father was a great piano player, but he loved boxing, and so he took that route in life. And so it's a really great, fun story with the grandparents, and the grandmother's just this sweet woman that takes the little boy under his wing and teaches him about Saint Anthony, and it's heartfelt. And Mark Wahlberg, if you're listening, that one's for you, buddy.
Oh, that's awesome. He's a great actor. I like
a couple of these people. I could just, and I think Mark is perfect for this kind of a project because he has a strong faith, and this story's got a great message. And he's from back east. He knows about family, and I think this would resonate with his company.
And we have Doll X, a demonic doll story.
Oh yes, we're going
caught between ambition and love. Let's explain that one a little bit.
So we literally went from feel good, faith-based kind of something. Now we're going to the deep dark Doll X.
We've just hit the dark side of Chat Box with Sam. With Matteo.
Yes. Da, da, da.
Da, 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 da.
So, Doll X it's a very interesting story because it's evolved the past year, and it became kind of a love story of these doll makers. They get this doll from Europe, and there's an evil spirit in it. Shocker. And these doll makers are falling in love, but the doll is creating havoc in the workshop, and so there's a possession and crazy doll. This is like top secret stuff, but we've got a great creative team. I can't announce who yet. No. We're almost there, but the doll is fantastic. It's beautiful. It's made from some famous doll makers, and we're just waiting for confirmation on a couple things. But the story is it's heartfelt and traumatic and scary, and the doll makers are these two girls that fall in love with each other, and my cousins are the Kyoto brothers, and they started the business in stop motion animation, and they've gone on to do lots of films with John Favreau and Tim Burton, and among other greats, and they're legends in their own right.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've been mentors to me in my life, and I've always said, "Oh, we should do something at the shop," and because they have a studio out here, and so my cousin Edward, he's like, "All right, make it simple, keep the budget down. We can shoot on the weekends or something." And I can never do simple. It's just not in my
No.
my makeup.
It's all or nothing, isn't it? Right?
Yes. And so it's evolved since then, and it's such a bigger and better thing. And there's during the writing process, I listen to different music. Like I said, music finds me. I'm creative, and there's a couple of artists out there. Svadalitsa, she's this Iranian musician. She's awesome, and then the Marias. It's more popular out in the States, and their music it's just all about the love between the girls, and it's mind blowing how much it will just go along with the narrative, and so I hope that they're involved in the soundtrack, and
Right.
but this is something that I think that is marketable. Like, it's probably the most marketable thing that could be in the theaters, and it's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Back to what you were saying about making movies and behind the scenes, it's a group effort, and it takes a village to make a movie, and I can't do it all by myself, and I've learned a lot of that the hard way. But I also know that I've been humbled, and I want help. It's difficult when you don't get it, and you still want to be creative, and like one of the most expensive mediums to be in, and as an artist, being a filmmaker.
Right.
And it starts with the script, and I've learned how to do things a little bit differently, and I've tried to take constructive criticism in a positive way. And
Yeah.
so Command F, which is find, in most screenwriting software or documents, it's a very good way to search stuff. And I was like, okay, what's a word in this thing that I wrote? And the word that I remembered was resilience. And so this is what I tell all my artist friends, because being an artist in show business is very difficult. And we all have other jobs and do other things to survive. And the show business will crush you. And it's not that you've been knocked down, it's that you keep getting up and fighting for your art, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I always send to a friend here and there when they're feeling like they're ready to quit. I say, making money outside your artistry does not define you any less, but represents your resilience and strength as an artist to succeed.
I like that.
So that will be what I'll say when I get my Oscar. Mark my words.
And I'll be the first one up there going, he was on Chatbox with Sam. Yes, he was.
I said it first on Chatbox.
Chatbox with Sam. They'll go, who the hell is that? What star sign are you?
I'm a Sagittarius.
Me too! You're a Sagittarius, so on the way home you want to go out and enjoy yourself, and then you get home and put on your PJs.
Fire sign.
Fire, I'm fire, yeah.
Yes, we're both fire signs. And Patty is also a fire sign. She's Aries. That's why we get along so great.
Oh yeah, my kids are Aries.
I just incorporated this in Doll X's script because one of the characters is kind of a witch in training, like she's reading her Wiccan book and learning about stuff. and she's the love interest of Alice in the story. And so I just incorporate. I need her to like be astrological or just talk about something. And she said to Alice, "You're a Sag," and she's like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "Sagittarius," and she's like, and then she goes through the attributes of the Sagittarius, and she says, "I'm an Aries. We're both fire signs." And the evil doll, while it was found in a fire in Europe, so it kind of ties it in, and
right,
little Easter eggs there and there.
I bet the doll didn't like that.
No, well,
you'd want to say,
also,
"Oh no, I'm not really a fire sign. I'm a Cancer or something. I'm water."
the doll's water because it survived the fire. I don't know.
Absolutely.
The one thing I can say is I am not perfect. I make mistakes. I try to make up for them as a filmmaker, and I hope that I get another shot because I want to improve on my craft and help out people when I can, especially my fellow actors and actresses and crew. Like I have a great cinematographer, Scott Carruthers. He's brilliant. He's an artist. He's a family man. He works hard for his family, and a lot of the time when he gets to be creative is when I'm like, okay, Scott, we're gonna go make a movie, and I want to give him the budget that we both want, so that we can really shoot what we want. Half the time we're running with their hair on fire because we don't have enough time to get the coverage. And so I want to help people. I'm helping a couple of psychics right now. They want to do a docu-series and a show, and they're real life psychics, and so I'm working on that with them.
Where can people actually find you?
So you can email me at makeithappenfilms@gmail. And I'm pretty good at following up. I'm from New York originally, so I'm always on top of it. I got a strong work ethic, and I will follow up with every email that I get. I'd be more than happy to collaborate or talk with other people.
So Matteo is also on social media. He's on Instagram. Matteo?
Yeah. Matteo R23. That's me. And I'm also on Facebook under my name, Matteo Ribaudo. And then there's different pages for films. Then there's the website, makeithappenfilms.com. You can see a bunch of stuff there. And I also have a Vimeo and YouTube channel for Make It Happen Films. But there's not a lot of content on there that you can see because most of the stuff's in development, and it's for, promoting stuff in our office and trying to, get people involved in my projects.
Do you have, Matteo, thank you very much for being on Chatbox with Sam Season 4. It's been an honour and a pleasure to talk with you. Behind the scenes stuff, it's been awesome. Do you have any last words you'd like to say to the audience before we depart?
I would like to say thank you to Sam for having me, and I think big things are happening, and look forward to seeing some great movies coming out of Make It Happen Films, and I hope to hire some of you out there too. And I am completely blessed and thankful for this opportunity, and I had a blast. Thank you so much.
I've had a blast too. Thank you so much, Matteo.
Stay creative and stay safe out there, people.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on Chatbox with Sam.
Thank you.
Stay tuned for the sneak peek from next week's episode with John Kapilos.
An American girl. My father was born in Greece, but my Greek is also not as good as my brother and sisters. I was the youngest of three,
right?
And my brother and sister went to Greek school, and I sort of went for a little bit and then acted out.
And we all had lunch together, and John met quite a few of my friends, and it was a good day, wasn't it, John?
Yeah, and it's always good to get a free lunch. You know, actors love that, and to meet wonderful people. That I wanted to be a musician. But then I realized when I did plays that actually acting sort of trumped it. Right. And when I saw how good a musician he was, I realized I could probably be a better actor than musician. This is my album, Too Hip for the Room.
There we go. 16 Candles with John Cusack. Hi, John.
Oh, you girls love that John Cusack, don't you? I just had a friend of mine. She would always sort of make an excuse to talk to me so she could talk about John Cusack.
Oh, well, we're not going to talk about him. No offense, John, but this is John Capilos, and he's on my show, and we're talking about John Capilos today. But John
was a really good guy, and he's a good actor. No question about that. The person that I proved it to was myself, and that was a long time ago. So there's a sense of love and enjoying it, but I've actually had family members, and not friends, but family members tell me they don't like me as an actor.
Oh dear.
Well, they haven't said it out loud as much, but I can tell that I'm not their cup of tea when it comes to acting.
But you're playing a part. That's what people have to realize, is that the John I met was you first. Okay, I've seen you in film.
Well, and that's sometimes, what's difficult for some people to take is like
separating the both.
I was at church once, and this lady came up to me. She says, "You're a bad person. You play with bad people." It's like,
what did I do?
I'm a bright star in the nighttime. I'ma go hard when it's my time. Yeah, I'm hard and I'm like, you can't ball.